Please welcome Reverend Jacques DeGraff and presenter of the Bridge to Justice Award, Rabbi Michael Miller, CEO Emeritus of JCRC New York.
Can't get away with that. Friends, after that video, what else is there to say? I think you know who the Reverend Jacques-Andre DeGraff is. So what is it that I, as a brother from another mother, my partner for over 30 years of working in the streets of New York, of building bridges towards justice, social justice. So I asked Marcy and the folks who put together this dinner that when it came to putting my name in the program that they use my rabbinical title, which I don't always use. Because for this purpose, I think we have to turn to the Bible, Rev. The Reverend's name is Jacques. Jacques, of course, is French, and in English we would refer to it as Jacob. But those of us, of course, who are familiar with the Bible know that the original Jacques, the original Jacob, was the Jewish patriarch, Yaakov. Who was Yaakov? Who was the original Jacques, the original Jacob? Well, in the Bible, which we have been reading in synagogues over these past several weeks, just 2 weeks ago, we read about Jacob, Yaakov, Jacques, that he was traveling and he stopped in Bethel, he fell asleep and he dreamed. He dreamed about the future of the Jewish people. Jacques, Jacob, Yaakov was a dreamer. I know that Ambassadors Amir and Deputy Consul General Nitzan and others know that the word for dreamer in Hebrew is cholem. Cholem. My father taught me that you can jumble the letters and take that very same word, cholem, dreamer, and turn it into lochem, a fighter. This gentleman to my left, who's standing with me, I'm daunted by standing near him, is not only a cholem, a dreamer of what justice should be here in America, and not only for African Americans, not only for the black community, but for all Americans. He's also a lochem. He's also a fighter. He's also a warrior. He has been through so much in his own personal life that he shares so willingly, so graciously with everyone who works with him. Friends, we're in the presence of just a unique individual. I know that his wife, Jacqueline, knows more about the Rev than we do. But for those of us who have labored together with him in the vineyards, in the fields, on the streets, during difficult times, as well during peaceful times, know that we have no greater friend in the Jewish community. We have no greater friend, partner in the African American and the black community than the Reverend Jacques-Andre DeGraff. And on behalf of all of you, on behalf certainly of this organization, our CEO, Gideon Taylor, our president, Ben Golub, our chair of the board, Cheryl Fishbein, to present the Reverend Jacques-Andre DeGraff with the Bridge to Justice Award on behalf of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. This is a moment in America that is unprecedented. And we look in the mirror and we see not what was there yesterday, but something different, someone different. We have all been through a journey that the half has not been told. And so tonight we're going to break all the rules. Marcy has given us strict instructions. Marcy can be very, very persuasive, but I'm the last speaker. And so it's important that we maximize this moment. Would everyone please stand? If you are able to, please stand. In this time, we have come through storms and tribulations, and everyone here has a secret sorrow, something that you haven't told anyone about that's still on your heart. The holiday seasons are coming, and maybe you're missing someone. Maybe you suffered a sacrifice or a loss. And so you came out tonight anyhow. So before we go any further, I just want you to turn to someone who you didn't come with, look them in the eye in a New York kind of way, give them your best smile and say, I'm so glad you're here. Why? Why? Because there were people who were with us last year. Shh. There were people who were with us last year who are not here this year. And so we want to appreciate this moment. If you would please greet someone. Thank you. Thank you. Well, why did he do that? Because we have the same enemies doesn't make us friends. I need to say that again. Because we have the same enemies doesn't make us friends. What makes us friends and brothers and sisters is that we have the same values. And those values we have to act upon. We can't take them for granted. And so one of the things that you learn in seminary is something called the ministry of presence. It's beyond theology. It's go to where the pain is. And so when the anti-Semitic episodes and incidents in New York City were taking place, we gathered a congregation of folk who went and worshiped at a congregation, at a synagogue in Lincoln Square. Why? We didn't come with plaques. We didn't come with a press release. We came to say that we stand with you. And so as I take my seat, I want to just talk about the 3 ups. The first up is show up. So tonight I showed up with my A team. Some parts of the city, they would call them, Brother Fenton, they would call them my posse, okay? So Elizabeth Velez and her husband are the top leading business people in the city of New York. Arva Rice, the head of the Urban League, is the lead civil rights fighter for her generation. Dr. Margaret Renault is a health advocate who is leading a church initiative across the city. Dr. Margaret Renault. Dr. John DeGraff is a noted educator and my brother, my baby brother. Dr. Angela Spence DeGraff is an educator and is known throughout the country for turning around troubled schools. Jules DeGraff, he's actually my younger brother. Jules DeGraff is a retired corporate executive. He's already got it like that. But perhaps the most important one of amongst us is Jade DeGraff, because she's the next generation. She's John's daughter. She's a designer, and she's the one we're passing the baton to, and she's living that life right now. For 48 years, I've called one woman my bride, and she's here tonight. She's a pacemaker, a freedom fighter, and a way maker in her own right. She's the first woman to be head of the deacon board at a Baptist church. She's my bride, Jacqueline DeGraff. So tonight we showed up, and I'm going to let the video speak for me, and I tried to speak up. But I'm going to close with this, that it's time that we have to stand up. Hate takes many forms. I've been moved when I heard people say that today, based on something that happened in the news, I didn't know whether I was going to wear my yarmulke. That's important in terms of identity. I didn't know that something fundamental to me, I could go because I would be at risk. I would like to say I understand and I empathize, but when I walk in the room, when I look in the mirror, I can't decide whether I can get out of this skin. And so I understand what it is to live with fear. I understand what it is to live with faith. But God's people, the people who are here tonight, when we leave here, we have to say that this little light of mine, I'm going to let my light shine. Everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. I believe still that love will conquer hate, that sunshine is the antidote to darkness. And tonight we have come together not just to have a ceremony, not just to give out some trinkets, important as they are, but to be together and to stand up at this time in this season of hope and light and say that never again, and that the best together is yet to come. God bless you and thank you for this honor.